Well, first of all, congratulations on this incredible partnership with CopperFit. We know you're no stranger to wellness, so tell me, how did this come together?
Well, I was very fortunate that the people at CopperFit reached out to me. I think they were trying to bring their wellness products to more of a female audience, and in the past they had worked with lots of male athletes. And I was really honored because, first of all, I like to kind of, I guess, help change paradigms around, aging and what it can look like to be fit at all ages. And their products are so great, and they're really supportive, and I use them all the time. So I was like, this is a good partnership.
I don't think I've ever seen someone make a fingerless glove look cooler, just to be clear. I'm like, I think I'm into fingerless gloves now. What can you tell me about the collection? What can we buy to support?
Well, it's really like kind of head to toe, and it really covers, great workout clothes, but then my favorite products are like the ones that bring extra support. So like you mentioned, the fingerless gloves, they're really nice for support of the hands. It's like all the typing and texting all the time. I love the compression socks. I wear them every time I go on an airplane. Their knee braces are super comfortable, and it's all infused with copper, so they feel really good, and I'm like actually a big user of the product.
I love the fact that it sounds like this is really something for your everyday life, right? It's not just when I'm in the gym or when I'm working out. It's helping you be more functional from morning to night.
Yes, absolutely. And even, there's this great kind of heating thing you can put on your your neck for
lighting to that after this chat.
before bed. I really like the wellness tools that they have as well. Like they have the apparel and everything, but the tools are also really good.
And you mentioned wellness. Of course, we know that that's your wheelhouse. You lead the charge in a really incredible way. Can you talk to us a little bit about that initial fascination with health and wellness, where that sprang from?
Sure. So in my mid-20s is when I really started exploring the world of wellness. Unfortunately, it was catalyzed by my father being diagnosed with cancer. And I just thought, gosh, like, do we impact our health outcomes? Meaning, does what we eat and how we think about ourselves and the toxins that we absorb, like, is this all impacting our wellness? And it was very, very early days. People didn't talk about wellness at all in the 90s. And I just sort of started experimenting, doing research on clean food, environmental toxins, pesticides, the mind-body connection, which people thought like the gut-mind connection at that point was insane. And now, of course, it's like proven science. And I just started doing experiments and realizing, wow, like it actually, I do feel better if I walk to work, and I do feel better if I do yoga, and just understanding what the body is capable of when you give it the conditions to, be strong and to not eat junk food and stuff like that, and those incremental gains that you feel. And I found it very empowering, right? This idea that we can really impact the way we feel every morning when we wake up.
Right, right. If you had to give 3 accessible tips for women when it comes to everyday health and fitness, what would they be? What can we do starting tomorrow?
Walking is my big thing. I would say that's kind of number one. Walking is proven. There's tons of research. If you look at longevity in the blue zones, all those cultures that live a really long time, their walking is a huge part of their daily life. Hydration is really important too. So I would say make sure you have a good water filter that you can get on Amazon, but that really filters out a lot of the chemicals that unfortunately is in a lot of our city waters. Right. And then I would say, really being kind to yourself, like watch the words that you say to yourself, because that can really impact your overall wellness, how you feel. I think positive reinforcement of yourself, affirmations that you say to yourself every day, those kinds of things actually really have a long-term impact.
I really appreciate you saying that, because, wellness from a holistic perspective mental is so important, and sometimes we forget about that, the little ways we can take care of ourselves.
We do forget about that. We tend to white knuckle our way through our lives, and you know, a lot of times it can come with negative self-talk. And I think, you know, really being kind to yourself and giving yourself the space to feel all the wonderful things about you, you know, it does have a positive impact on mental health.
Absolutely. Okay, so we know you behave, you're really good 99.9% of the time. But when Gwyneth Paltrow decides, you know what, screw it, we're going on hiatus for 5 minutes from the wellness thing, what is the cheat meal? What are you doing? What are you indulging in?
By the way, I live for my cheat meals.
Okay, good. I love to hear that.
Live. What I tend to do is, like, if I'm going on a fun weekend to New Orleans soon, and I'm just giving myself the weekend off.
Okay, beignets.
Oh yeah, I'll be beignets, I'll be shrimp po' boys, I'll be into the milk punch. Like I'm gonna go hard.
Okay, good. I love that. I love that. Enjoy.
Fried food is really my weakness.
I think you just stole my heart. I love to hear that because I love my fried food. I know it's in moderation, but it's great to hear, you know, that you can have a balanced lifestyle and still treat yourself.
I think that's really important, actually. I mean, I think if you have a baseline of, you know, trying to eat more whole foods, you know, less processed foods, more nutrient-dense foods, you know, watching the sugar and alcohol, all the things, but, you know, just really when you have that meal that you want to eat. And actually my ex-husband calls it a treat meal, which I like better because cheat has a negative, exactly. Yeah. So now we're trying to reframe it as a treat meal.
Okay.
And really just like having all of that delicious stuff that you love, pizza and, you know.
Enjoy your treat meals, people, okay? I will certainly be enjoying one very soon here. Switching gears, you are halfway to an empty nester. You talked about Apple leaving, being
You're
like
really
giving
bringing
birth.
it down.
No, I'm so sorry. I mean, you're halfway there. What did you mean by that? That it's sort of like birthing to say goodbye to your baby girl?
Well, it's so interesting because I had never thought about it in this way, but when you grow a child in your body, when they come out of your body, all of a sudden you're like, wow, it's you know, they are their own life, and like they're out of you, and it's like the first step away, you know, from the mother. And of course there's a long process of baby steps away, but when I dropped her at college, it felt like there was this final kind of cutting of the umbilical cord, you know, and we're extremely close and we talk every day, but it felt at the time like the end of something. It was really profound. Like I cried for days.
How did she take it? Was she like, bye mom, talk to you tomorrow?
She was, you know, she's such a cool person. She went with such an open mind and heart, and we're very close, so she was worried that she would, you know, but she's also like very present to her feelings, and it was only a couple times that she was like, oh, I miss home, but otherwise she was like kind of hit the ground running.
Spreading those wings.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. You know, as you look at your two children, they're getting older, what attributes of you do you see in them as they become adults in their own right?
It's a good question. I see it my daughter definitely has, and then some. She's got my strength, she's got my independence. What she has at her age that I didn't have is like a really deep knowledge of herself. Like she's really knows herself. It's very cool. And then my my son, he's a total dream.
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of my kind of he's internal, he's a daydreamer, he's very creative, and I think he tends to have a very positive outlook on life, and I have that as well.
Okay, that's really beautifully said. You know, you turned 50, the big 50.
I did.
Aging backwards, but that's a whole other conversation. That's why we're taking all these wellness notes, okay? This is what I want at 50. So first of all, congratulations on turning 50. How have you been celebrating?
Oh my gosh. It was sort of a protracted experience. In fact, one of my friends texted me this morning and she's like, I'll see you on Thanksgiving, but I'm not celebrating your birthday anymore.
Why?
Because, well, we had, I had a New York, you know, kind of party for a lot of my friends in New York, and then I went to Italy with my husband and just a couple of friends for the actual day, and my brother, and then had another fantastic dinner party. So I really maximized my celebrating.
Okay.
And it's been wonderful. It's been such a joyful, happy time.
Well, congratulations. You know, we
Thank you.
obviously love you in the wellness space. We love your fashion looks. So before I let you go,
Thank you.
to celebrate 50,
Oh.
we're going to do one of our favorite looks from each decade.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Oh,
first
my.
up, 1985, 13 years old. This is giving cottagecore
Yes.
chic, which is having such a moment right now.
It is. It was a very Laura Ashley, was that the name of the yeah. It was like, that was so cool with like the 80s haircut. I mean, I don't know if I could pull that off now, but I really felt cool on the day, I'll tell you.
What would you tell this 13-year-old girl, if you could tell her anything?
Probably to
You were going to say it. No, you were going to say it and then you thought about it. I caught that self-edit, Gwyneth.
I mean, there's, yeah.
You got to tell me off camera.
There's just
okay,
a lot to learn.
There's a lot to learn.
There's a lot to learn.
Okay, here we go.
Oh.
What year is this? We've got 2028 years old. What do you remember
Year
most about this time?
2000. Okay, so this was, oh my gosh, you know, those were some suede Gucci pants that split all the way up the crotch, like about 5 seconds after that photo
On
was
accident.
taken.
I was like, okay, that is not the vibe. That was the plot twist.
And thank God I had like a pashmina somewhere and I tied it around my waist, so when I was leaving, then there were paparazzi and people were like, oh, this must be a new style of like.
Exactly, and
no,
then it became.
my ass was out.
Well, we thank you for the trend that followed that moment.
You're very welcome.
So, you know, next up, we've got 2011. This is
Aww.
39 years old. What do you remember most about this chapter in your life?
Oh my gosh, I like barely even when was that?
Ooh, it looks like SAG Awards,
SAG
5th Annual
Awards?
Screen Actor Guild Awards in the back on TNT.
Okay. Well, there behind me is Julia. She's been one of my best friends since I was 11 years old. So I love seeing her in that photo too. You know, I think I was 38, you said?
You were 39 years old.
I was 39. Okay, so I had kids at that point and doing my thing, and yeah, it's a pretty dress. I like that
Gorgeous,
dress.
gorgeous. Okay, this is maybe my favorite look.
This is very 90s.
So good. Talk to me a little bit about what you most remember about this chapter of your life.
A lot of cigarettes.
Okay.
A lot of cigarettes and Brad Pitt. That was this. That was this time of my
Cigarettes
life.
and Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I mean,
Listen.
not into it. I'm into it. Okay, now I want to get to this one because this is
Oh,
incredible. I mean, can we
hello.
just talk about 50?
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely stunning. What was the inspiration behind the shoot? Why did we decide to go gold with the body paint?
So this is my team at Goop. They really wanted to kind of make a moment out of my 50th birthday,
Yes,
and I
girl.
guess 50 is the golden jubilee. And so they were like, "Would you ever, you know, take off your clothes and be painted gold?" And I said, "Okay, one last naked photo shoot. This is it. That was it. That's we're done."
When you turn 60, when we're talking to you at 60,
Yes.
where do you hope to be in your life? What does Gwyneth hope to be accomplishing? How do you hope to be feeling?
Oh, that's a good question. I hope that, I don't know, I hope that I will have surprised myself with how good 60 feels, the way that I surprised myself with how good 50 feels. Yeah. And I've noticed that, you know, there's been kind of a deepening into everything that is real and feels good in my life, all of the relationships that I have that I'm so grateful for. And I hope that those continue to really deepen, and I hope I'm working less.
Okay.
I hope I'm like making more dinner and working less.